1 of the Mediocre Players Tournament. We've got Tadborowski in blue. He is playing as the Goths. He is 34 years old, from Michigan, in the United States. He's been playing since the 2000s, so just like everyone else, he's been playing for a long time, but only recently got more into it. His favorite civ is the Goths, which he's playing with today. He usually plays Goths on Arena, doesn't play Arabia very much, and in fact he doesn't play rated games, so I didn't have an ELO to go with, so I had to just guess. On Arena, I figured he was probably about 1400 with Goths, so he's really good. I call him the Goth Bomber. But so he's playing on Arabia, which isn't his favorite map, so I guessed his rating at about 1100. That makes him the number 2 seed in the tournament. Meanwhile, Amuller is 26 years old, from Chile. He's also been playing since he's a kid, but he has been playing more recently, especially as Definitive Edition came out. His favorite civ is the Mayans, although today he is playing as the Bulgarians. His rating on DE is 853, which makes him the number 7 seed. So we have the number 2 seed versus the 7 seed, Tadborowski versus Amuller, Goths versus Bulgarians. Fairly standard start for both at this point, although you'll see Tad is already trying to make an arena for himself, wall this base up. He doesn't want any early military getting in on his base, so he's going to be quick about these walls. Green is already on his way to Feudal Age. Gonna build a barracks. So one thing about Bulgarians is that their militia line upgrade is completely free. So as soon as you go to Feudal Age, any militia that you have will automatically upgrade to Men-at-Arms without you having to research the technology. And the same goes for each age. Men-at-Arms in Feudal Age, Longswords in Castle Age, and Two-Handed Swordsmen in Imperial Age. So that's a pretty good advantage there, and I think he's looking to take advantage of that. Although right now, he did manage to get his scout inside the walls of Tad, and so he realizes Tad is fully walled. But he's still going to send these men-at-arms forward. In fact, he will get a Vil Snipe here. Tad was going for the double wall approach, and he's still going to go for that. And have to be quick about it. Oh, just barely didn't catch those that wall before the men-at-arms got in. Now, he doesn't have any military. He's got to rush up a barracks here. His wood line is completely exposed. There's 4 men-at-arms in his base. That's going to be hard to deal with no military of your own. He's going to try to fight it with villagers. These villagers are dying fast. Does he even have okay, he does have loom. So the problem with fighting villagers is you have to task them to fight each unit. So once they finish that men-at-arms, then they stop fighting. Men-at-Arms, however, will just keep going and fight the next unit nearby. So Tad has to actually task all of these villagers off after each of these units. He did manage to fill that gap, though, before the scouts got in, because Amuller followed the men-at-arms up with some scouts. That would have been pretty deadly if that got in, so good job on Tad's part, filling that gap. Sending these villagers back to work. He only lost about 3 villagers. It's 37 villagers to 34, so that 3 villager loss is actually the difference in the villager count right now. Tad continues with the double wall approach. He really doesn't want anything breaking in. He accidentally walled in that villager. Good thing for her, though, is there's the scouts. Now Tad's got his scout over here in green space, so now he sees what's up. He sees that Mueller is not walled. Did he spot the... no, he did not spot the stable. Green tried to break in here, but Tad was able to get the house walls up. Alright, let's fast forward until we get to some more action here. going to lose his starting scout to these scouts, maybe. Most likely. Triple walls along the north edge here. Even got multi-layered walls on the south side here, too. He walled his villager in again. Oh, man, that's funny. He deleted a house to pull his villager out, but then built another house, and the villager walked back into that gap and walled himself in again. Oh, man, that's funny. Alright, so Tad is on his way up to Castle Age, almost to Castle Age. And at that point, he's going to go for a hard boom, eventually get himself a castle, get the Anarchy unique tech, which will allow him to create Huskarls out of barracks, and start flooding the infantry to go for his usual Goth bomb play. Alright, so second TC up, third TC coming up, fourth TC coming up. So he's really going hard on the boom. Meanwhile, Green is still in Castle Age. So Tad is back ahead in villagers, 44 to 42. Green does have a good number of farms. And Tad's got the 4 TCs, although it's going to be tough to keep villager production until he can get some more farms up. And he is producing villagers fast. It's up to 57 villagers to 44, so just like that. Big villager lead. These scouts don't really know what to do, considering they can't break through all these walls. Just look at all these walls. Tad was not playing around. He's like, don't even try. Don't come in through my walls. No one's going to break in. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a way for him to get out. He's building a gate here. It's building a castle on this side of the wall, so if something does try to break in, it'll have to fight the castle too. And the castle's also needed for the Anarchy technology. Alright, so Green actually came in here with 10 knights and a villager. Not sure he meant to bring that villager in or not. That villager has actually he's got wood in his hands, 13 wood in his hands. Now it's up to 14 knights. So those knights could break through those palisade walls, but Tad is going to build another castle to get in the way of those knights breaking in. I think he will probably get that castle up before the knights break in. They'll get through a couple layers of palisade walls, though. Alright, so losing a few knights. He only lost one knight. Building a Cray post here. I'm actually not sure what he's planning to do with that. It's not close enough to affect any of Tad's resources. It's not really defending anything. The only thing you can do with a Cray post is use it like a miniature castle and shoot things. And also garrison units, and you can create your unique unit, the Conic, which is a cavalry unit. He's also making archer ranges. That's interesting. Still got 2 stables, but he hasn't made any more knights. He's actually... Green is on his way up to Imperial Age. Tad has an 800 score lead. I think that's all to do with the villagers. Green has 64 villagers at this point, and Tad's got 119. So he's doubled up the villagers. So he's really booming, really hoping to get a lot of eco so he can spam those Huskarls. Now Tad's got 9 barracks, well, he's got 6 with 3 more queued up on the other side of the wall there, if he could get anyone out there. Oh, look at this gate! 4 layers of palisade walls, 4 layers of gates. He's actually treating this like you would on Arena. You know, on Arena, you have those stone walls that you start with, and then behind your base, you have an area of wood. And that's what he's treating this like. Now, Green has built a lot of barracks of his own, as well as a castle. And in the castle, he can get a unique tech, which allows his Conics and Knights to fight 25% faster. Meanwhile, he's still taking advantage of the Bulgarians' unique ability to upgrade the militia for free. So, because he's Imperial Age, these are now two-handed swordsmen, which are pretty strong, especially against Huskarls. So, one key here is Knights and two-handed swordsmen are very good against Huskarls. Huskarls are a good unit, but they are best when you're playing against archer units, units that cause pierce damage. Huskarls are pretty weak to melee damage, so when they get up close to another melee unit, they usually die pretty quick. So Knights, he's got 17 Knights, and he's also building the two-handed swordsman, another melee unit. All good units against Huskarls, which is what Tad's going with here. Tad's got 24 Huskarls. He's also got 10 pikemen, though. He had to break out his walls here to allow some of the units to path out. Now, Green's going to pick a fight. He's got his knights sitting there waiting, but now he's got this trebuchet attacking Tad's castle. And while Tad doesn't really have to worry about keeping the castle because now he can create Huskarls out of barracks, that is a defensive building to try to keep Green from coming in. So he desperately wants to keep that area, keep him from being able to come in. But I think he thinks he can fight this. I don't think he realizes there are knights here. The knights engage, the Huskarls don't. Pikemen don't. Okay, now the Huskarls engage, so the pikemen don't. Alright, he went in for the mangonel, that's what he did. Alright, yeah, the knights are just doing so much damage against the Huskarls here. Two-handed swordsmen jumping into the fray as well, a few of them at least. Now he's got two trebuchets going in on the castle. He's spamming the Huskarls. Look at this spam. He's just throwing all his resources into Huskarls and pikemen. Huskarls, pikemen. Huskarls, pikemen. Although he's also, Green is creating two-handed swordsmen, which are great against pikemen and Huskarls. Meanwhile, these knights are actually going to go around, maybe? No, they're still engaging. They actually got the hill advantage on the Huskarls, too, in addition to the advantage they naturally have. Alright, still spamming Huskarls. Let's take a look at Tad's cube. Look at Tad's cube. Look how much he's got spammed going out here. Unfortunately, he lost that castle and that town center. So, not looking good. He's hoping to get in and grab those trebuchets. In fact, he's going to run right by the Conics to go for the trebuchets. Did get one trebuchet. Still got another one there. He already lost a lot of his eco. Well, he didn't lose a lot of his eco yet, but he did lose the castle and the town center over here. And he's got to rush up some house walls. Now, Tad calls the GG, but he hasn't resigned yet. And look, he's still got his queue still full of units. So the fight isn't quite over, but I think Tad realizes there's not much left to do. But he does have a lot of military units right now. There are a lot in the queue as well, so he's probably just going to throw them all in at one last fight. Oh, the Conics got in. Did manage to get the house up to prevent some of them, but several of them did make it in. Villagers attacking it, causing 1 damage per shot against a 120 HP unit. That's not going to work out very well. Two-handed swordsman behind it, following up. Now, again, he's trying to go in there for the trebuchet. Sending a couple of Huskarls to come after the Conics. Those Conics are just doing so much damage. Pikemen are good against the Conics when they're a cavalry unit. The unique thing about the Conic is it starts out as a cavalry unit, but once it dies, watch after this one dies, if it dies. Yeah, it comes back as an infantry unit, dismounted Conic. So you have to fight a cavalry, and then once it dies, you still have to fight the rider once it gets off. Oh man, that trebuchet survived with 4 HP. So that last big push of military units by Tad, was not able to kill that trebuchet. There's another one to follow it up. He's probably going to lose this castle as well. He's still in Castle Age, producing a ton of units, but not much to do with it. Down to 105 villagers, which is down for him, but still over 100. Which means he's got 95 military units. Sending the military in for the trebuchet again. Or not. Nope, didn't get the trebuchet yet. Not at all. Oh, trying to rush up a castle. That's not going to happen either. It's going to lose a lot of villagers on that castle. Conics are streaming in. Two-handed swordsmen are streaming in. Unfortunately for Tad, it looks like there's not a way to come back. If anything, he would have to stream all these new units over into this side of the base and kill off the army that's made its way in. That castle's just going to get trebbed down before he can even think about finishing it. Pikemen and a few Huskarls did go the long way around and grab one trebuchet. Did they get the second one? They got the second one too. But he's got Conics in on his town center. Two-handed swordsman as well. That town center's going down so fast. And GG for real this time. Well played, mi amigo. And that is the game. So, Tad never actually got any aggression in on Green. Green's base was safe the whole time. He actually built a forward base with the Krapos, the castle, and a siege workshop, although I don't think he ever used the siege workshop. But the barracks, and Tad, he did get his Goth bomb going, but because Green was putting pressure over here, he had to divert it. Instead of attacking his opponent, he had to go over here and try to kill off the army that was breaking in the side of his base, and was not able to do it. 277 to 62. That is incredible. Now, to be fair, Goths always have a bad KD ratio because with Goths it's all about spamming units. You can create them fairly cheaply, so you just create as many as you can and don't worry about losing them. You'll just make more. But that was just too much for Tad to be able to take. He did have an economy lead in all categories except for stone. He got to Castle Age faster. Had 136 villagers, and that was really early on too. Green still had less than 70 villagers at that time, so that was more than double the villagers. But by the end, as Tad was losing villagers, Green was able to ramp up to about 93. And here's the Goth bomb trying to go off, but you had that aggression in Feudal Age from the men-at-arms that managed to work their way into Tad's base, killing 3 villagers, getting a slight bump for Green. The scouts tried to follow up but weren't able to do anything. And then Tad was just booming. All eco here, no army. Meanwhile, Green prepped an army of those knights, eventually went to Imperial Age and started trebbing his way into Tad's base, forcing the bomb to be diverted, and unfortunately it was not able to survive the Krapos and castle over there, as well as the military units that were countering his. So, well played. Number 7 seed defeated number 2 seed in the first round.